Hare Krishna. Is my sound good enough? Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Sunit, my sound is
Yeah,
good?
I can hear you.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Yeah, it's good.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvamilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Jacob Anderson is asking, Tilaka which I wear is the Krishna's footprints or this linked is asking. Actually, the Tilaka we wear is Krishna's footprint. And Krishna also wears the Tilak if you see in his pictures. He wears the feet of his devotees. Krishna takes the feet of his devotees on his forehead and devotees take Krishna's lotus feet on their forehead. So, I will just show you the last few slides of the last session we didn't complete last time. So okay, well, I'm not going to explain the last slide show because I will quickly show it, and the last 3 slides I think remain the 3-4 slides. We will do that, and then we proceed to the next one today. So this is the session 18th session which we did about higher taste. The whole talk was about higher taste last time. So I'm just showing the slideshow so that you will remember the context. How does the self-realized person sit? So that was a question asked by Arjun. That means how does he remain suppressing his senses? Kim asita? In this world of senses and sense objects. So the example of the tortoise was given. This is explaining the glitter and glamour of Maya in this world. which all living beings are victims of this. They become slaves of these things. The senses impelled by sense objects. So, but the yogi is one who controls his senses. And how is he able to control them as per his plan, like a tortoise? He withdraws his senses when there is a danger of falling down, and then he engages his senses when it is able to be engaged in Lord's service. So in this way, we are not teaching suppression, we are teaching sublimation. Sublimation means you engage senses in the right activity of service to Lord. Then he becomes steady in wisdom. Another example, last time very beautiful explanation came out from all of you, I remember. The senses are like snakes, and the enjoying mentality in the senses is compared to the tooth of the snake. And the snake charming is, I remember Jacob was telling that the snake charming is like Krishna's flute, isn't it? So when Krishna plays on the flute, our senses become attracted. Similarly, the snake charmer plays on the instrument and charms the snake. Similarly, our senses, when they are attracted to Hare Krishna mantra, then we can easily control the senses. So with a higher taste, it becomes easy for one to give up the lower taste. So this is the verse which you recited last time. Very good questions came last time. Vishwamitra, although he is externally controlling his senses, his mind is still attracted to the objects of the world, like women and wealth and things like that. So what does a yogi do? So therefore, if you see the two green boxes in the top, you should develop a higher taste and become fixed in Krishna consciousness. And that is why the picture below, that Krishna is in the top and all of the devotees, the one Mata is performing puja, one devotee is cleaning, mopping the floor, remembering Krishna, one is cooking in the kitchen, remembering Krishna, one is eating prasad, remembering Krishna. That means do all the activities from morning to night, remembering the Lord. So, with higher taste, you can control the senses. Then I showed you the video of Krishna last time, and peacock. And this is higher taste. This is how devotees can remember the Lord. And then, so the restrictions are good only in neophyte stage, because an advanced platform, one develops a higher taste, it becomes easier to restrain the senses once you have a higher taste. And what is that higher taste? If you see, please read the section last point. What kind of higher taste recommended? One of you can read it, please.
One who has tasted the Lord's beauty in the course of his advancement, such a person loses all taste of dead material things.
Yes. One who has tasted the Lord's beauty and by his spiritual advancement, he loses all taste of dead material things. So this is actually the secret of higher taste. So you will see Srila Prabhupada all over the world. He established temples with deity forms of Radha and Krishna and Gaurnitai. Why the deity forms are established? Because when you have a deity form of the Lord, just like I'll tell you a very simple example. Say you have the photo of your mother and father or grandfather, grandmother. By looking at those photos, you are able to immediately connect with them very emotionally. People, even in computer, many people keep many photos or sweet memories of that time at home. When they go to college, they feel some homesickness when they are away from mother and father. But when they open that folder and go through those photos, oh, these are the moments I had with my mother on my birthday, or on that particular day we went for a tour, and different photos of them smiling and joking and together, playing or things like that, eating together. So when you see those photos, immediately you feel a strong presence of your relatives, mother, father in your life, and that gives a solace for you, as if you are with them. So, but somebody may say, what is there in these photos? I mean, what you see in the computer, it's all pixels. Just a combination of pixels. How does it satisfy you so much? Somebody may say that. Yes, it may be made of pixels, but the combination of those pixels shows a picture of someone whom you already know. That person you know already, and you have related with that person. So when you see those photos, immediately you become reminded of them. Similarly, the deity form of the Lord, yes, it is made of stone or wood or metal or something like that, but it is made of 8 substances. Lord Krishna says, if you make my deity form in these 8 substances, but you should make a replica of my form exactly as I look in the spiritual world. Krishna smiles, Krishna stands on a threefold bending form, he plays on the flute, he has curly locks of hair, exactly it's made like that. So then, because we have experience of Krishna in the spiritual world, so we become attracted to this form when we see this. And similarly, Srimati Radharani also. So by looking at these forms, we become reminded of our eternal mother and father, who is the mother and father of everybody. So the energy and the energetic are worshipped together. Scientists only accept the energy, Shakti, which means they see, yes, sun is very powerful, and they know kinetic energy, potential energy, chemical energy, light energy, heat energy, all this electrical energy, all these things they know. And they are also taking advantage of the energies, but they don't know the energetic from whom all these energies are coming. Yeah. So, in this way, you will find that when you come to the correct understanding of the personality of Godhead Krishna, and then we develop a higher taste. Now, many of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada who became devotees in the early day, very quickly they caught this wonderful thing of service to the deity. And they dress the deities. First they bathe the deities, then dress the deities, then put ornaments on the deity, then you feed the Lord Bhoga, and then you accept the prasadam. By doing it, they could easily see that they are developing affection. Just as a mother or a father, when they bathe the child, dress the child, send the child to school, they develop affection for the child. Similarly, one can develop affection for the Lord, and that is higher taste. And that is higher taste mentioned here. Okay. So, for one, who stops eating, the object of senses disappear, but not desire for the objects. Yeah. Somebody may keep away from the object of senses, but the desire may remain in the mind. Therefore, unless one becomes self-realized. So, this is what I didn't do last time, now we will do today. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. The senses are so strong and impetuous, they will drag down even a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them, he's saying. So the word vipaschitaha, the second line says, it means a jnani who can analyze what is matter, what is spirit, what is permanent, what is temporary. He knows the difference. Like in the picture you see, this is Vishwamitra sitting in the forest. He knows that the material pleasures cannot give me enjoyment. Theoretically he knows, but it says, although externally he is controlling his senses, indriyani pramathini, the senses are like a mad elephant. Haranti prasabam manaha. Even a man of discrimination can be cheated by them because the senses are very strong. So they can suppress knowledge, he is saying. So as it is said here, here the man of discrimination refers to jnani. He endeavors to curb his senses simply on the strength of his own philosophical understanding and mental conviction, and that is not enough. You see, the example is given. If you take, for example, if you take a paper and take a needle and you pierce it, then paper can be easily pierced. If you take a mild steel plate and you pierce it with a needle, can you pierce? You cannot. Why? Because the mild steel plate is it's a metal, it's not possible to pierce. Similarly, our acharyas have given explanation when the mind is filled with vasanas. Vasanas means propensity for sense gratification, and somebody's thoughts are filled with ideas for enjoying the senses and sense objects, then that is like a mild steel plate. You cannot pierce it. But when the mind is purified by chanting of the holy name, then it is like a paper. Then you can pierce it. Then needle can pierce. Similarly, one can develop determination by chanting the holy name, because chanting the holy name cleanses the mind. And unless the mind is cleansed, it is not possible to control the senses. Impure mind is going to indulge the senses in sense gratification. So in devotional sense control, read this please, one of you. Devotional sense control.
In devotional sense control, one does not become frustrated by inactivity because he engages all of the senses in regulated devotional activity.
That's the beauty. Because if you artificially suppress the senses by going to a forest and idling, sitting in one place, the senses become frustrated because in want of engagement. But Sunit, can you say how the senses are regulated by devotional activity? Can you say?
By devotional activity,
Like?
like chanting spiritual names, holy names,
Correct. Yeah, that is true. What else?
we are, yeah, we are devoting ourselves to Krishna consciousness,
Okay,
and in
one is
that way,
chanting. What else?
remembering him all the times.
Remembering him, that is true. But
Prasadam eating.
besides that, any other activity is recommended in our devotional path? Only that much? Chanting
Eating
and
prasadam.
remembering? Eating prasad, okay. What else?
Kirtan. Yeah.
Kirtan, correct. What else?
The service.
Service,
Service to
like what?
deities. Service.
Yes, deity worship, service. You can also distribute books, Prabhupada's books.
Yes.
Devotional literature we can distribute. Yeah. And you can also go out in the streets and do Harinam Sankirtan, isn't it?
Yes,
And you can do gardening for Krishna. You can do cooking for Krishna. You can make a garland for Krishna, correct? So in this way, our senses can be engaged morning to night. In this way, they won't become frustrated because they have activity. See, for example, a child also, if you see a child, your parents say, "Hey, child, don't take the knife. Don't touch the fire. These are dangerous for you. Just sit like this." Can a child sit like that? The child is going to want some activity. Instead, if the parents give the child a toy, or if they give some, tricycle, or if they give a balloon, something they give. Yeah. Then the child has some activity to do, something positive which will be harmless for the child, isn't it? Similarly, he's saying, G. Joshi is saying that relationship among Krishna devotees instead of isolating. Very good. Jacob is saying, offer the fruits to Krishna, then all activities are sanctified. Correct, Jacob? Correct? Yeah. That's nice, yeah. So, yes. So, in this way, we can engage all our activities. Secondly, he says, Krishna conscious activities bring true peace and lasting happiness. See, contacting sense objects also gives peace, but it doesn't give true peace and lasting happiness. Can anybody explain that point? Like, for example, you are eager for eating some sweet. When you eat that sweet, you get satisfaction. Or in this way, we showed a man is attracted to a woman. So when one connects with the woman, one is satisfied. Why it says that only Krishna conscious activities bring true peace and lasting happiness? Can any of you say? See, anybody hankering for any object in this world, when you get that object, don't you get peace? You get peace or you don't get peace? What do you say?
Yes.
Well, in my means in my stage, I am in both is now at one means one part of me is devoted to Krishna consciousness, and other part is still withdrawing from the sense objects now. So it's a mixed feeling. So yeah, I'm experiencing the kind of peace inside me. It has started. It is just at a very beginning stage. So that complete peace which should be there, I'm not experiencing it. So yes, it is
Ah,
the beginning, obviously.
yeah, Sunit is very honest. Huh? Yes, we will experience the complete peace eventually. But my question was that when we connect with sense objects, don't we get peace? Because they also give us happiness and peace. Is it not true? Huh? So Jacob is saying, people think they want or need things. All they need is Krishna and company. Is saying, They don't need anything else, he is saying. They only need Krishna, he says. That's well heard also several times in the Gita. But my question to all of you, when you, for example, a man is attracted to a woman, when he gets a woman, is he not satisfied?
Prabhuji, I would say like you get the temporary sense gratification, but more than that, you have like you suffer from the material like Maya more than
Yeah,
you
you
get
get temporary. It's not lasting, he's saying. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something interesting. Just a minute. If you see that, you will get an idea. Just a minute. So, just today I was making one notes. I came across one interesting thing, which if I show, this will give you scientifically the reason. What is happening with this? Now it's opening. Huh? What is it? Which I have to close? Okay. Why it's not showing? Okay. Some problem, no? Okay, I will tell you. I can tell you verbally. There's some problem in the word file. See, the first dosh we say is arjan dosh. We call it. Arjan means when you try to accumulate any material good, that produces more and more hankering. The more you chase after the sense objects of the world, they produce hankering. Second is called as rakshan dosh, which means the protecting the objects produces fear. Therefore, I gave the example of man, woman, but even anything else also in this world, you are hankering for getting a car. If you are not able to purchase a car, it's too costly, your hankering increases. That increases your greed and you are unable to sleep properly. And when you get it, then you want to protect the car from damages. Yeah, you want to protect the car from the damage. Somebody may cause a dent in the car. Somebody may steal the car. There is always fear. That's called as Rakshan Dosh. And the third one, Kshaya Dosh. You find that the car gradually gets deteriorated. You are not happy. Or if a man and woman are attracted to each other, gradually their body gets old and one of them dies. That is a Kshaya Dosh. So there is a Arjan Dosh. There is a Rakshan Dosh. There is a Kshaya Dosh. Is it not true? Then there's a Himsa Dosh. If you have to get something in the world, you also try to harm others for getting something. You have to compete with others. Even in a corporate circles, when somebody has to make a progress in the company, they talk ill of others so that they will be considered better. People do that. That is called as a Himsa Dosh. You call it. Then there is a Bhog Dosh. Bhog means when one tries to enjoy the object what one got. In that also, either one is dissatisfied with the amount of enjoyment he got, or the enjoyment produces diseases also. So these are 5 things that are said with sense objects. Correctly, 2-3 of you said that material pleasures are short-lived, they can't give lasting enjoyment, whereas the spiritual bliss is everlasting. And Sunit very honestly said, I am a practitioner, I am beginning now, eventually I'll experience spiritual peace. That's very true. But once achieved, the spiritual bliss is everlasting. And that is why we are all in the pursuit of that spiritual connection. Because the advantage is Krishna is everlasting Lord. You will never die, Krishna will never die, the love will never die. Similarly, after attaining Krishna, there is nothing better to be searched in the world. Whereas in this world, always there are better and better objects. And also spiritual world is a place where there are no dualities. There is only pleasure, no pain. There is only, it's only one. There is only ocean of happiness, Satchit Ananda there. You will understand more as we proceed. But now for the timing, what you said is good enough. So we proceed. So let us finish these 2 slides. Yeah. So that's why he says one does not become frustrated by inactivity, and Krishna conscious activities bring true peace. One who does not engage the senses in Krishna's service eventually falls down to mental consciousness, as the mind and senses are not satiated by mere repression. Yeah. That means if we don't engage senses in upward activities like uplifting activity like Krishna consciousness, then the senses and mind naturally go for the lower option of sense gratification, which is a default option for the conditioned souls. They will go for it. That means either you choose Krishna or choose Maya. That's what they said here. I think I have to, I don't know if they put the sound, I'll just check it. Oh, sound is not included. Yeah. So here the devotee, you can see, devotee drowning in samsara is calling for the Lord. So you saw in that picture how a devotee takes shelter of the Lord. By calling out the Lord's names and performing, rendering devotion service, Lord says, I personally come to pick up my devotee and take my devotee back to Godhead. So this is a big plus point for a devotee. The devotee is not just artificially suppressing the senses. A devotee has higher taste coming from devotional service. So here you find Durvasa Muni is, he gets angry. Vishwamitra became victim to lust. Whereas Ambarish Maharaj, his mind was engaged in Krishna service, sense gratification became distasteful, mind easily was controlled, then he became a pure devotee of Krishna. So he is an example of victory in practice of spiritual life. Unlike the other fellows, like Durvasa or Vishwamitra and all, isn't it? So, only by Lord's grace can one attain the transcendental state. Even though one refrains from actions, the desires continue within the mind. We may externally go away from the sense objects, but the mind keeps thinking of them. Like you see the picture on the right side bottom. See, so many things. This fellow is thinking of TV, so many other things. Yes, some religiosity, some love affair, and some pounds, some dollar notes. So many things are going on in his mind. Hence, assistance of the Supreme Soul is required. Without that, we cannot advance. Look at the top pictures. Krishna is playing on his flute, surrounded by cows. If a devotee keeps chanting Hare Krishna, eventually one will remember this form of the Lord. Look at Hanuman is absorbed in chanting Sitaram's names. On the other hand, those who don't take to such devotion service, they will be like the picture below. Look at the 5 horses running away without any control. The driver has lost the control. Can somebody read the bottom one? Any of you? Even those
who have experienced the transcendental state to some degree, still inappropriate desires may arise in the mind when they are not in that transcendental experience.
That means we should be mentally prepared for this, because we are not all the time 24 hours in the transcendental state. So therefore, sometimes we all have experienced that it's like a wave. Sometimes you are up, sometimes down. Sometimes you are aligned with Krishna. Sometimes you are, you can experience Maya. Back and forth we go, but that is in the growing stage. But when one becomes very developed and evolved in spiritual life, then one can constantly be in the transcendental state. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Yeah, please, translation, please.
The person whose senses have been brought under control, Vasehi, is the Sita Prajna. This distinguishes him from the sadhaka, the person attempting to do so.
So there are 2 people. One is called sadhaka, one is called siddha. Sadhaka means we are attempting to control the senses and mind. Siddha means he has already controlled the mind and senses. Or a siddha is called a sthita prajna. So here the Lord is saying, Tani sarvani samyamya, which means restraining the senses from the worldly engagements. Yukta asita matparaha. Engage those senses in my service, Krishna is saying. Vashehi yasyendriyani, having brought the senses under control, tasya prajna pratishtita, such a person's intelligence is fixed, he is saying. So here the example is given that Durvasa Muni, Yogi versus Ambarish Maharaj. Any of you know the Durvasa Muni's pastime in the Bhagavatam? You heard it? See in the picture what you see, a long story cut short, I will tell you. The king is standing with folded palms, you see here. He's a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. And on this side you find this is Durvasa Muni standing. So what happened between them? One day the king saw that Durvasa Muni is coming to his palace, and then Durvasa said, I am going for a bath to the holy river, I'll come back. So the king had cooked a nice prasad to offer it to Durvasa. But the Durvasa was getting late at the lake where he was bathing. At that time, Ambarish Maharaj was keeping a vow of a fasting for some days, which he wanted to break at that time. So he took a little bit of Charanamrit offered to Lord. Charanamrit is a liquid offered to Lord. Durvasa, when he came back, he said, hey, Ambarish, you have cheated me. I am your guest. Before giving me food, you have eaten something. So therefore, I am going to kill you by creating a big demon. Like that, he took a very disproportionate reaction. And you can see the picture, huge demon he created to kill Ambarish. Can you guess? What would you do if you are in that situation, any of you? You did a small mistake. It wasn't a big mistake at all. He just took some little Charanamrit, and the Muni became angry on him. And he said, now I'm creating a big demon from earth to sky to kill him. That's what he said. Ambarish Maharaj was a pure devotee of the Lord. Every day he used to go to the temple, use his hands for cleansing the temple of Krishna. He used to sing the glories of Krishna. He used to hear the katha, just like you all are hearing Krishna katha now. He was also hearing. He was also chanting Lord's names. With his legs, he went to the temple. In this way, he was always performing devotional activities. Pure devotee. But here is Durvasa, he wanted to kill the pure devotee. So Lord Vishnu the Supreme Lord became angry. So Supreme Lord arranged for Sudarshan to be sent. Sudarshan is the wheel which Lord Vishnu uses in his hand. He sent that. So the chakra came and started chasing after Durvasa Muni. That's what you saw in the picture. I have not shown it in the picture. Here, the Durvasa will be subsequently, see? Here you see, he is chased by that big wheel of the Supreme Lord. And he ran from pillar to post. He went to Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. Even Vishnu told him, you have committed a great offense to my devotee. So go and offer obeisances. So later on he will go and offer obeisances and, Ambarish Maharaj, prayed to Sudarshan to stop and not burn him. So Durvasa Muni was saved. Which goes to show that a Krishna devotee is superior to a yogi also. Somebody may be yogi doing pranayama, asanas, and he may be like, he can even walk on water or fly on sky, but a yogi is not greater than a devotee, because a devotee is in touch with Lord Krishna directly. So devotional service, burns to ashes all the impurities. So the Vishnu in the heart of the yogi burns all impurities. Aim of real yoga is to become a devotee of Krishna, meditation on Vishnu and not any void. Eventually yogis will come to the point of surrendering to Krishna, which is said in the last verse of the 6th chapter. So how does a devotee engage his senses? So like Ambarish Maharaj, I told you, similarly, here you can see Srila Prabhupada, in the first picture is chanting, here is giving lecture, then writing Bhagavad Gita commentary, here is doing kirtan, here is walking and preaching, here is playing mridangam, here is cooking, here he is commenting on one of the commentaries he is giving, Here is dancing in Rath Yatra. Here is giving dictation. You can see that. Here is worshipping the deity. So in this way, he has become a man of steady intelligence because his senses are restrained from nonsense and useless activity, and is keeping them under full control, and is fixing his consciousness upon Krishna. And this is the way we can constantly engage all our senses in service to Krishna, and Paramatma burns up all impurities. So you got an idea. See here, the most joyful Bhakti Yoga, all of us can also engage in varieties of these services. See in the top picture, you see a lady is inviting two guests to home and introducing them to Krishna consciousness. You all can do this. Invite your friend to your room and give them prasad. Here these fellows are distributing spiritual literature. And here are two factory-going businessmen. They are offering the fruits of their business to Krishna service. Imagine if they are diverting some 25% of their earning and to running ISKCON temples. That is the way they are serving Lord through the money. And these people are doing Sankirtan, Harinam, glorification of the Lord's name together. Here these ladies are dancing and they are dancing and depicting Krishna's pastimes, Leelas like Yashoda Krishna and pastimes like that. Similarly, somebody is doing gardening for Krishna, you see. They will make flowers and offer to Krishna's deity in the temple. And these people are going in a boat. So the boat, they are doing Harinam Sankirtan and going to Mayapur, a holy place visit they are going. So therefore Bhakti Yoga is a very joyful path. You all are appreciating this point? How in Bhakti Yoga, we have to just connect all the sense activities of the senses to Lord, by which we purify our senses, and purified senses become calm, cool, collected. Impure senses cause agitation, and impure senses make us glide down to hell. So everybody in this world is walking with impure senses, but they have a chance in Krishna consciousness to elevate their mind and senses to pure activity. So this was the, you had a couple of questions. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob, go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. You are going to type it or ask me?
Further up in the chat, but I was just wondering about like past aggression and stuff like that, because a lot of your wants and desires in this lifetime because of previous lives. So if you do that and then proceed with Krishna, wouldn't it be easier on like keeping your senses under wrap because you've eliminated things that they desired for no reason?
Oh, Jai Krishna Prabhu, did you hear well what Jacob said?
No, Prabhuji, it is not at all clear.
I think the volume is very low, no? Jacob, can you increase your volume? Achha, it's in chat also. Okay, I'll see the chat. I'll see it. Okay. You are asking, is Krishna the only God that doesn't have negative yantra? I have seen the regular one that is bhakti based. Would Krishna allow negative yantras to even connect with him, Prabhu? Actually, there are many people who use negative yantra for attacking their enemies. It's not good. Actually, there are many people doing many things. We follow the path of Sattva worship. In Sattva Guna means worship three deities, Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan and Radha Krishna. These are the three deities. And the worship is very, very pure. The food is offered with tulsi leaves. And only pure vegetarian food is offered. Whereas in the other type of worship, they offer meat, wine and all those things they offer, which you don't offer. And also you asked one more question. What about the past life and trauma clearing things? I understand the holy name purifying you, but when it comes to from a past life, many things you desire or have problems, which can be cleared in past life, Medhanadi, then a lot less things pull you as desire, and the sense don't cause quite as many problems, so they are easier to get back under wraps. Yeah, I understand this point. Actually, the past life impressions and the present life impressions, both are stored in our mind. And the holy name can actually purify all of them completely. It's possible. Actually, I have seen boys undergoing a radical change in their lives. People who are into all kinds of bad habits have given up. People who had phobia. I can show you evidence in one of my PowerPoint shows. I have it, I can show you. Even schizophrenia is one disease, which means people are targeting me to kill me or things like that. People have phobias. Even those phobias can be erased by chanting of the holy name. They have, it's a research is done in US. It's a proven fact. The holy name is able to eradicate fears. Holy name is able to eradicate negative impressions. Provided we chant intensely and we chant regularly, we don't do it occasionally, we regularly do it. Yeah, and also Jacob has asked one more thing. Senses draw you to more, and then the ego fear it being taken, so you need more. Correct. So absolutely. So, and it's okay regardless of when you started your journey. It will get there. Yeah, correct. So the nature of the sense objects is to drag us towards. The nature of senses is to drag us to sense objects in a conditioned stage. But as one chants the holy name, worships the deity form, engages in these varieties of devotional activities, which I showed you now, that engagement is very important for the senses, which is called seva, we call it. When you do seva, the mind also goes with the senses. It gets absorbed eventually. So does it answer your question, Jacob? So it doesn't matter that he's saying the obstacle, just use the holy name as the cure and it destroys anything before it. No additional steps needed. Yeah. What is the additional step I told you? You chant the holy name and go to the temple of Krishna and worship the deity form. Bow down to the deity. Krishna says that if you bow down to God, you advance also. And also engage in some seva also, additionally. Because when you engage the senses in service, then senses get purified. When you bow down to the deity's, mind also is purified. And by the darshan, you develop a higher taste. Plus, along with that, you chant the holy name also. Is it all right, Jacob? Okay, is a deity in temple just a god as one in the home? Yeah, actually, whether the Lord is in the temple or Lord is at home, the Lord in the temple is even more special. I'll tell you why. Because thousands of devotees have come and performed kirtan in the temple hall. So the spiritual vibes are available there. And great acharyas and gurus, sannyasis who are totally devoted to Lord have come to the temple and they have circumambulated the Lord, they have danced in front of the Lord, they have bowed down before the Lord. So their vibrations are also there. But at home, we may have a picture of the deity. So that also has some, even if you want to keep a picture, you should keep picture of a installed deity of a temple. Jacob, you live in which part of America? Are you in New York? Okay. I put a video halfway in the chat. I'll see that. You are in Pennsylvania. Okay. So in Pennsylvania, you can go to, from Pennsylvania, you can go to Gita Nagari. That's very nearby. So there also there is a temple. You will see Krishna's deity. So if you ask them, they will, you can also get a picture you can get. Otherwise, I can also send you. Yeah, Harrisburg is also, there is a temple. Yeah, you are right. Harrisburg is very close to Pennsylvania, correct? Yeah. I came to Harrisburg last time. When I come in September again, I'm likely to come. I'll go to, when I go to Chicago, from there I will also go to these places. So you can have a deity form of the Lord, get a picture, and to that picture you can offer the bhoga and everything. Yeah, thank you. Good questions. Thank you. Oh, you didn't have an idea? I'll send you. I'm supposed to send you a mail. I will send you the contact in Harrisburg. Yeah. So all of you clear about this? Can I go to the next PPT? We still have 10 minutes time. I can go to the next session, okay? So you learned about engaging the senses very well today. You can see this one. Steps in fall down and the ways to avoid them. This is the session for today. Here it is said here. Please read this, one of you, please. Even for those
who have controlled the senses, if they do not direct their minds to me, it is inevitable that calamities will again arise. This is expressed in 2 verses.
And Sripad Ramanacharya's commentary, what he says? Yeah, one who?
Yeah. One who endeavors to subdue these the senses, depending on one's own exertions, and does not focus the mind on me in this way, becomes lost.
That means there are many students across the globe, spiritual students, who try to subdue the senses artificially without focusing on the deity form of the Lord or the devotional practice of engaging the senses in Lord service. So simply artificially trying to control on an intellectual platform will not help, he is saying. See, here I've given you 3 monkeys. Don't see bad, don't hear bad, don't speak bad. The 3 monkeys are covering the eyes, covering the ears, and covering the mouth. This will not last for a long time. Do you think a monkey can just sit quiet like this? No? Monkeys by nature are very hyperactive. Similarly, our senses are also very active. So we have to engage senses in Lord's service. Look at the right side picture. Arjuna is folding his palm and Karishe Vachanam Tava is agreeing to fight the battle as per Krishna's order. So he is engaging his senses in fighting on the order of the Lord and he attained perfection. So this is how everybody can perfect their lives by engaging. Here the picture of a story of one pure Brahman. He was actually nicely trained in the Vedic Gurukula. And at home he used to bow down to his parents in the morning. He would do the Gayatri mantra 3 times a day and all that. But one day he went to forest to pluck flowers and there he saw this dirty sight of one low-class man and low-class woman. They were embracing and kissing each other. So when he looked at that sight, he got agitated in his mind. All the lusty desires arose in his mind and he became very degraded and polluted. When he returned home, he called this prostitute to his home and he threw away his wife and his religious parents. And he started enjoying with this prostitute and spent quite a bit of his life in begetting 10 children through this prostitute until at the time, at the verge of death, he was about to be caught by the constables of superintendent of death, Yamaraja. So I will recite the verse and then I'll tell you the steps involved in fall down. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha Sangasteshu pajayate Sangat sanjayate kamaha Kamat krodho bhijayate Krodhat bhavati sammoha Sammohat smriti vibhramaha Smriti bhramshat buddhi nasho Buddhinashat pranashyati. See, generally, youngsters tend to think that lust is the root cause of all problem, because lust means adamant desire for the prohibited things. That is called lust. So, like for example, a child likes to eat M&M. In America, they call it M&M. In India, they call it Cocoa chocolate. So, this M&M is very tasty for the tongue, but it is very harmful if one eats too much. Similarly, you find a man may be married, but he is attracted to extramarital affair, which is actually lust, due to lust, and that is prohibited, which is not allowed. So that people often think lust is the cause of all problems, but actually before lust there is one more thing which is called attachment. Unless you have attachment for something, lust doesn't arise. For example, there are so many things around you in this world, you are not attached to them, so you don't feel lusty for them. But if somebody becomes attached to one object, then no matter whether the object is beautiful or ugly, then one develops lust. And then prior to attachment, there is a contemplation. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha, he says. So when you repeatedly contemplate on an object, then only you develop attachment to it. So I'll tell you a little example now. You will easily appreciate. In my school days, I was walking with my father. I was just about 4th or 5th grade student. So I just turned my eyes around and then I saw a shop where there was a beautiful toy aeroplane. And the aeroplane had multiple lights, green and yellow, blue, orange, all kinds of colors, clink, 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 clink. And there was the wings also, it was making sounds also, ting, 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 ting. So it looks very attractive, big plane, this much size. So I looked at it And I went on contemplating on it. Oh, how beautiful is this plane? It looks so nice. Then my father was walking ahead, pulling my hand. I said, wait a minute, father, let us see this. Wow, what do you feel about this? Father said, that's nice, he said. I said, come, let's go to the shop and see it. So we went in. And when I asked for the toy, my father said, no, why do you want to buy this? It may break after a while. So I'll buy something else for you. But I insisted. But he wasn't in the mood to buy. It was very costly also. So I told my father, if you want, you go ahead. I'm going to sit here because I can't leave this. Now I became attached to it. Because I contemplated on it, I became attached to it. And I told my father, unless you buy and give me this, I'm not going to come home. That is lust. Lust means adamant desire. See, my relationship is with my father, not with the toy, but I became attached to the toy. I said, unless you give me this, I'm not coming home. Then my father came up with the idea. He said, okay, you get first rank in your school, in your class. Right now you are in 4th or 5th rank. You get first rank, then I will give you this aeroplane. Then I agreed. Then I went home. I started working very hard. In the next 3 months, I came to first rank. I went and showed my progress report to my father. Papa said, yeah, I've got first rank, I said. He saw that and said, good boy, you're an intelligent boy. He gave me a pat. I said, what good boy? Give me that aeroplane now. I have got this first rank for the aeroplane only. Again, I pulled my father's hand to the shop and then he purchased it for me. Why am I telling you this? Because I contemplated on the plane, I became attached to it. Because I became attached to it, I became adamant for it. And because I became adamant, I became angry on the father that he's not purchasing it for me. Like that. So, in this way, you will see this. Yeah, he's saying here, Jacob is saying, we do this with everything in America and the family suffers usually first in these situations. Yeah, everybody does it, isn't it? Now imagine, a boy has been always getting what he wanted in life. When he wants a woman and she's not ready, then people shoot also sometimes. What kind of things people do? People shoot, like one girl wanted to marry another boy, so this boy shot him, thinking that if that boy is not there, she will marry me. Then she didn't. She said, because you shot my dear one, so I will not marry you anyway. Then he shot her and he shot himself. People go mad due to lust because they become angry when lust is not fulfilled. And that's what he's saying in this. You got an idea now. So in the picture also it is shown here. You see in the top picture, you see the man is looking at a woman and contemplating. Then they come close, then they become attached. Then they indulge. And then they become angry with each other and he gets bewildered. And then he falls down into the material pool. Like that it says. So here is a fellow who becomes angry. His head is like a matchstick. He's so angry, you can see that. Yeah. You see, the living entity senses engaged in sense gratification, and then contemplating on the objects of senses, develop attachment, then lust develops, from lust anger develops, and is unsatisfied, and then he falls down. Whereas the living entity senses engaged in Krishna service, then transcendental loving service of the Lord happens. But if the senses are engaged in sense gratification, then they go to worship demigods. They quickly achieve sense gratification and they will eventually get frustrated with sense gratification. Yeah. So verse 60, it spoke about the senses taking away the mind by force to sense objects. And 62 and 63 describe the effects of coming from that. Yeah. So why a person contemplates on the sense objects? Like you see the picture, here a man already is married, but he's looking at another woman. And then the result is he's not able to do anything with her. So he's drinking liquor to forget her. And then he is getting into complication. You can see that. Similarly, he's saying, because of the impressions of sins from time immemorial, therefore we contemplate on sense objects. Yeah. Prabhupada says, one not in Krishna consciousness is subjected to material desires. Therefore, Lord Krishna said, Tani sarvani samyamya. Withdraw your senses and engage it on me. If you don't engage your senses on me, Krishna says, then naturally you're going to be dragged by your senses down. Everyone, material world, including Brahma and Shiva, are also subjected, he's saying. An attachment increases fully in a man who thinks about sense objects. That means more and more we contemplate, attachment increases. Yeah. Here you see the man and woman are very happy together. Then she's catching his neck when she's angry. Uh, so the desire comes in further stage of attachment. Then it turns into anger. Yeah, against the persons who stop that enjoyment. And then one has lost discrimination. What to do, what not to do. One is bewildered. And the failure of memory. Buddhinasha means his intelligence is finished. And he sinks in the ocean of material enjoyment, samsara, pranashyati. These are the steps involved in this. So senses are naturally active. They need engagement, as I told you. Yeah. So Prabhupada gives an example. When the powerful demigods like even Shiva was agitated by Parvati, Kartikeya was born. Actually, Shiva is a very great personality, but he wants to teach the world one lesson, that even great personalities can be agitated, and Kartikeya is born. That he wants to teach the world. And I told you last time the story of Haridas Thakura. And he easily overcame sensual attraction to a prostitute who invited him because he was engaged in chanting Hare Krishna. So the last thing you can read, one of you please, Secret of Success in Terms of Sense Control. The last one, yeah.
Higher taste shuns of all material enjoyment.
Correct.
Yukta Vigraha.
Yukta Vairagya.
Yukta Vairagya. Use everything in the service of Lord.
Yeah, you don't have to deny anything. Use everything in Lord's service, yeah.
Yukta Vairagya offers positive enjoyment. Example, good eatables. One enjoys life by prasadam.
Yeah.
No danger of fall down because of the philosophy of Yukta Vairagya. Dry renunciation. Phalagu Vairagya. Fall down due to lack of positive enjoyment.
Yeah, what is Phalgu Vairagya? There are many enunciates who leave everything and go to Himalayas. They don't engage the senses. So because of non-engagement of the senses, they fall down. And Yukta Vairagya means we engage all our senses in Krishna service. Like previously I was telling you, all senses of your body engaged. That's Yukta Vairagya. So this we will discuss next time. How does he walk? How does a Sthita Prajna engage in action of the senses? So this is the fourth and last question of Arjuna. We will discuss it in the next class. Okay. So any takeaway point any of you would like to share before we close the session today? Today, what was the highlight you think in many things that I spoke today? Each of you can say one point and then you conclude quickly. I think Sunit is ever ready. I think.
If desire is not like unfulfilled, then the anger can arise. But I think if the desire is fulfilled, then greed can arise.
Exactly. Jeet is saying that when material desire is fulfilled, then greed arises. If desire is not fulfilled, anger arises. Therefore, we have to sublimate our desire by chanting Hare Krishna. Very good, Jeet. Thank you. Anybody else?
We have to engage all the senses in the service of Krishna, so that our mind gets purified and we are able to attain the Lord's feet.
Yeah, very good. Good. That's true. Perfect. That was the main thing I spoke about. Here, Jeet Joshi is saying, what if lust is fulfilled? That answer, I think Jeet Joshi himself gave it. When you fulfill the lust, it turns into greed more. Initially, say, I want. Then I want more. Like that. That is greed. Jacob is saying, in sorrow, as the saints feel it, the sages talk about how your desires are one side of the coin, or the things you don't get, which leads to your unhappiness. Yeah. Unhappiness, the amount the Lord gave you in His wisdom, the amount I didn't receive, you are suffering. Yeah. Actually, as Jacob says, everything has two sides in this world. Pleasure, pain, honor, dishonor, like that. With the turns of Kartikeya, many say he was another way to perfect Krishna. By he wouldn't know it was happening, but Kartikeya left his body standing. That is another thing. Here the main point is Kartikeya was born through Shiva and Parvati union, and that union was made possible because demigods requested Parvati and Parvati agitated Shiva, and then Shiva agreed to give the child Kartikeya. So Prabhupada says that in this way, all of us can be agitated in this world. That's the point Prabhupada makes. And Ligan is saying, yogi life requires great discipline. Correct, Ligan, you're right. It requires, it's a good point. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Prabhuji, so because of the desire, you progressed in academics. So how can we contemplate that?
Yeah. So now we can ask a question: what is real progress, and what is ambition, and what is over ambition? Right now, like Sandeep is a student, so he has to study. Definitely, you like Arjuna is a warrior; he has to fight. You know, a lady is a homemaker; she has to cook. So all of us have to do our duty, and we will try to do the service in an excellent way. But do you, Sandeep, do you agree that there are also students who are over ambitious? You agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the result of over ambition according to you?
It builds an extra stress and extra pain.
Yeah, it builds extra stress. He makes unhealthy comparison with other boys, due to which he feels inferiority complex. Sometimes they commit even suicide. Like, you know, in Madras IIT, in 3 months, 4 boys committed suicide in Madras IIT. So we were shocked to hear that, because that's because of over ambition. So therefore, I won't say that you should not do your studies well, or you ignore your studies. You are a student, you have to focus your attention on studies along with your Krishna consciousness. But there is a kind of balance required. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have one last question.
Yeah, sure. Sudarshan, yeah.
What is the line between over ambition and ambition? And
that's very easy to know. That's very easy. Say, for example, if there is a sack of rice, you know, a bird will come, eat and go, dog will come, eat and go. But if a man comes, he will carry the whole sack away. You've seen that? Similarly, we can draw a clear line between necessity and luxury. So, according to your status, certain thing may be considered as necessity and certain thing can be considered luxury. See, for example, child plays with tricycle. A school-going boy has a cycle, and a college-going student has a bike. A company-going man has a car. If you are CEO of a company, you may have a Benz car or more costly cars, Lamborghini or something like that. So, according to your status and your purchasing ability, you naturally have better facilities. But for a person to aspire for something beyond his pocket, and he takes a loan, and then paying back the loan, he is working 16 hours a day. That is over ambition. Do you agree?
I agree, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that is the point. So, yes, we all have to do our duty well. Everybody has an ambition. Actually, just as we have material ambitions, we should have spiritual ambition also. And we should make short-term and long-term goals in both material life and spiritual life. And plan and act towards that goal. And otherwise, in this world, if we only work materially with big ambition, we may accumulate a lot of goods and we will die leaving the goods behind, and we will go with empty hands to the next situation, not knowing where are we going. But all of you are fortunate. You're coming for the classes, you're learning about the meaning of life, purpose of life, goal of life. So with that, one can have a balance between my material and spiritual. Like, you know, you should not have 103, 104 degree Fahrenheit fever, but you are allowed to have 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. That is a balance, isn't it? Similarly, in material spiritual ambition, balance is needed. Yeah, I think Srinath has written a point. Conscious sense control and discipline with reality is possible with Hare Krishna chanting and keeping mind calm, being down to earth. Wonderful, Srinath. Very good. Thank you.
I have a last question. Like you said about ambition and over ambition. Like I have completed a stage of my studies and I'm aspiring for another stage now.
Okay.
So that will be considered as over ambition, like it is a sin.
No,
because I'm deeply.
You see, if you are going for your higher studies, if it helps you in having a stable material life where you can practice spiritual life very nicely. Are you going to do for doctorate, or are you going to for postdoc? Yeah.
Doctorate.
Doctorate, yeah. So you want to be a teacher or something after this?
Yeah, I'm trying. I will be like going for teaching, and besides that, I am already practicing Krishna consciousness now. So I think I can balance both of these because most of my time is spent with Krishna consciousness only. So
Yes.
besides that, I have a deep desire inside me that I must complete my doctorate. So I will
Yes.
be going for that. So I was
Yes.
just
So
confused.
you do your doctorate, and when you become a teacher in a college, you also put up a program similar to this. You conduct classes. You can do that?
Okay, that yeah, obviously I will
Yeah.
definitely.
So then your doing doctorate is meaningful because you will be helping the university students to become devotees just like you. Huh? Thank you. So thank you all. I
Sure.
have
Thank you.
stretched you a little bit more today. 10 more minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.